countries, the Western countries, became so rich, one of the primary reasons is, as I told you, technology. And another reason why is because they were able to impose English language. Britain was able to impose English language on all the colonies of the world. And suddenly, in few years, you find that the 85% literacy of the Indian subcontinent in a fraction of a second became illiterate. Right? So if I give you books in some other language from tomorrow, you become illiterate. Do you understand that? So Britain had colonies all over the world, right? And this is how the spread of English language helped it to make it a global communication language that it has become now, right? So English language and technology skills, these are the two important core areas which future generations should focus on, right? If you need to go out in the world and earn money, get consultancy and that kind of services, serve the global markets, then these are the two bare minimum that you need to be expert on. That is English language and IT skills, the technology skills. That is where how you will be able to land on foreign clients and all. Now, second benefit which the West had is that they were able to impose the classroom system model all over the world. Now, the primary reason why they imposed the classroom system model was they did not want people coming out from the classrooms asking questions to them, right? This was the reason they wanted to trap the citizens of all the colonies within four walls, so that after investing 15 to 20 years of their life within these four walls, the students that you have now no touch with the market realities after coming out of it. And once you are not in touch with the market realities, you certainly cannot do any kind of entrepreneurship, right? Because entrepreneurship requires a break-even point. An enterprising society, which is a perpetually a rich country, rich economic model, compared to a job-based model, right? That enterprising society requires a break-even point. Break-even point means where, say, suppose you are trying a business idea today, you will take 3 to 5 years to reach a point where there is no profit, no loss. From that point in time, you start generating money, right? So the British classroom system model was imposed on all colonies, particularly so that they do not ask for independence, they do not question the state, and they are able to generate jobbers who will sit on desk and depend on salary income, right? So these were the kind of negative views of the classroom system model compared to the ancient Gurukulas method which we had of education system. It's noted that about 6 lakh plus Gurukul system was our education system, and we had more than 300 plus languages and dialects on which the education used to happen before English language was imposed on us, right? So you need to understand that what kind of structure that we are set into, that we are able to look at ourselves from 18th century European model, and we have completely lost touch of what ancient India we were. You will never come across any reference in any history books where they will talk about Indian farmer women, which were the richest tycoons, business tycoons on this planet. The only narrative that you will listen is job is empowerment. These are the kind of narratives which are run. So after independence, what happened was, now that the countries realized that this particular country was able to give 27% plus to the world GDP with the agricultural family-led entrepreneurship model which it had, they devised a strategy. They started a wave called individualism in India, where they told people that they are supposed to ask rights from their sisters, brothers, and parents, and not from the state. And in this trap, a whole chunk of the Indian joint family system started asking their share from the family corpus. As soon as they started asking their share from the family corpus, the agriculture sector got destroyed. The profitability of the agriculture sector got destroyed, and the entrepreneurship model with which the family-based entrepreneurship model with which this country was so rich got destroyed. All these people came to urban cities after taking their share from the joint stock family corpus and had no option but to do jobs, right? And then this narrative was started that job is empowerment, right? This is how the Western extreme capitalist model functions, where they turn rich enterprising societies into job doing dependent, low money making societies, where the next generation has no option but to do a job because there is no family corpus support with them to do or try any kind of entrepreneurship, right? So this is exactly how it functioned. And then came 1991, when we were facing huge foreign exchange crisis, and then we required money, and that was the exact time that the Soviet Union had collapsed. So this was the exact opening the capitalist nations were looking for, and they imposed all kind of capitalist companies which entered the Indian market and started selling things, right? At a point in time when a civilization is totally blank about its origin because of the brainwash or the fabricated syllabus that we have in schools many times, what happens is you lose touch of the pride of your identity or of your native place. This is exactly the spot the companies exploit to sell products to you. This is where you require to hang brands on your body because you are not confident about your own identity. You don't have pride about your own dharmic base that you have, right? So this is what the narrative is set. And this comes from this one life concept, which, the Western people lead their lives like, where a cat or a dog is a family according to them, right? This is how hyper-consumerism and toxic individualism starts in the West. And that is what is being imposed over here. So my view with respect to a multipolar world is that where the United States dollar has this, an exploiting advantage of being the reserved currency status of the world. What are the benefits of a reserved currency status, if I may ask? If India wants to trade with Pakistan, it has to first earn US dollars and then trade with Pakistan. If India wants to trade with China, it has to first earn United States dollar and then trade with China. If India needs loans, the IMF and the World Bank are going to give in dollars, and you have to take it in dollars. So United States as a country has multiple benefits of United States dollar being the reserved currency status in the world. There's a huge artificial demand created by the rest of the world to be able to transact any kind of transaction. They need US dollar. So United States does not need to focus on any kind of exports because they can just print it out of thin air, right? Whenever there is a demand. Whereas rest of the world has to toil hard, produce goods and sell them to earn US dollar first to do any kind of transactions. So if I'm supposed to give an example, so say 5 friends went to a hotel and one is a US guy. The US guy says, let us do all transaction among us in US dollar. All of the friends say, okay, no issue. Then the US guy says, hotel ka jo bill aata hai, that also will pay in US dollar. All the friends says, yes, okay, chalo ye bhi maan lete. And then there are 2 poor friends who say कि bill तो बहुत ज़्यादा आ गया, मुझे थोड़ा loan लेना पड़ेगा. US guy says that also you will have to take in US dollar, right? Now there were 2 of them who thought ये तो बहुत ना इंसाफी चल रही है, सब कुछ US डॉलर में करना पड़ रहा है, तो हमको तो रात भर काम करके अर्न करना पड़ रहा है और फिर US डॉलर में हम कुछ कर पा रहे हैं. So they said, no, we are not going to do US dollar thing. So these 2 countries were then destroyed. These were Iraq and Libya, Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi. So these were the 2 countries which were destroyed, who said that we are not going to do in US dollar, right? So these are the advantages where we want to move towards a multipolar world. And that is the reason why this government is keen on not doing multilateral trade pacts, but to go with individual nations and do bilateral trade pacts with each of them. This gives a window where we can say to those individual nations that, look, let us trade in our domestic currencies. We don't need the US dollar for trading with each other, right? So this is where India is moving towards, that we want a multipolar world where each country has an equal say, and each country would have, the kind of correct value proposition of what it builds for the world and sells for the world. Right? This is the multipolar world that we are moving towards. So many countries, you see the government has moved. UAE is one country which is ready for trading in Indian rupees. Russia is ready for trading in rupee exchange, right? France, UAE, then Myanmar is ready to trade in Indian rupees in the domestic currencies. So these are the countries who are now waking up to this fact that our currencies are not valued at correct number, and also that we are not getting correct pricing of what we sell to the world because of US dollar, right? Between two cats a monkey has come, and they are taking a huge chunk out of it. So this has been true for the whole 50-70 years that last we have seen since the Bretton Woods Agreement during the Second World War, that this was imposed on the world. And let me tell you when this switch happened. So Bretton Woods Agreement happened during the Second World War, where United States currency dollar was decided as the reserve currency status, but the switch happened in 1971. In May 1971, there was a poll done by Gallup, which declared Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister of India, as the most admired person in the world. So angry with this, the President of United States decided 15th August 1971 to unhook and delink gold from the US dollar, right? He so much hated India, Indians, and the Indian Prime Minister that he decided this particular date to unhook dollar from the gold index, which is when this exploitative advantage of the US dollar started come into existence.